7:15, we're seeing some of the coldest nights for many years. Thousands of homeless people sleeping rough this Christmas in freezing temperatures.
Well, should we give them money or buy them something to eat? Some charities say handouts can make the problem worse. We've been speaking to some homeless people in Manchester.
It helps me get somewhere to stay. Food's not too much of a problem because you get all the charities that come down with the food. It's accommodation's the problem.
Very important because it goes to a roof over my head.
This morning, I thought I'd lost an hand because it's been out my sleeping bag all night.
What do you need?
Food, drink, bit of change here and there, you know what I mean? But yeah, just a kind word now and then.
It goes towards a hostel or a B&B, whichever we can get in. Single bed for 2 people. It's better than the concrete, I suppose.
Joining us now to discuss this, journalist Matt Broomfield and Lord John Bird, who of course founded The Big Issue, which of course, John, was all about giving homeless people a hand up, not a handout. So what do you think when you see people, you know, if you've got somebody homeless, it's freezing, the simplest thing for someone walking past to do is to give them cash and feel good about it?
What I'm really upset about, and increasingly through the years, is that every year we have people on the streets. It's absolutely terrible, absolutely terrible. And I think it's actually got worse because we're more and more aware of the human rights of homeless people. Mm-hmm. And what I would like to see is that we take these people, we have something where they can actually be taken or go to, where they are removed from the streets, where they are taken, and their health and physical well-being.
So you want it to be seen, you know, as the bigger problem?
Yeah, I think whether we give them money or not is really a side issue.
Yeah. Except, Matt, that's the problem.
I absolutely agree, and I wish I could sit here and say you don't have to give money to people on the street because there are structures in place to support them. But the fact is, homelessness has doubled since the implementation of austerity. Meanwhile, there are mass cuts to homelessness services.
I think those figures are conservative.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's even more. Even more.
So you're both agreed about the rising scale of the problem. I mean, Matt, the thing I guess is that we all feel, I mean, most people feel a guilt when they see homeless people. They a desire to help them. You know, you put yourself in their shoes or no shoes, and you just want to do something. If you give them money all the time, I guess all you're doing is encouraging them to stay where they are and carry on begging.
Well, I think this is it's a very kind of cruel and sort of facile thing to put the blame on, you know, that 50p that's being handed over, you know, and I think as a society, rather than saying, how can we make the streets so unpleasant, so hostile for people that they have, you know, no choice but to leave the streets and go and access services. There are many, many reasons why people don't access services, most of which can be traced back to a lack of funding, to a lack of interest by the government to solve the problem.
You do give money to...
I give directly to people, yes.
Directly. Now, when, you know, there is this sort of thought, isn't there, some people would rather give food because they're worried about what the money would be used for, because a lot of those people who are homeless have addiction problems, and if you're handing out cash, you don't want to fuel someone's addiction.
But I mean, I think particularly in this weather, you can see, like, you could just as easily kill someone by walking past and not giving them money. You know, it's 3 people froze to death in Ireland this week. If someone had given them £5, they might still be alive. And I think, you know, John would also agree with me that on the streets, food is often one of the things that's easier to come by. There are places you can get food, and people need cash for a lot of other things, whether that is
that right, John?
Getting in somewhere.
Well, you see, to me, the really important thing is, how do you respect this person on the street? And the way you respect this person on the street is to try and get them off the street. You have to help them exit the street. And the real problem is that everybody, homeless organisations, the government, are not doing the real work. The homeless organisations, because they don't have the means, they don't have the money. The government, because it's very, very confused. The real thing is, I'm an ex-offender, ex-rough sleeper, ex-beggar, and I tell you, the worst thing about being a beggar is the fact that you hate the people who give you money and you loathe the people who don't give you money. So it's a real mind screw.
So you're feeling resentful about everybody?
It's absolutely terrible to be on those streets, and we have to get those people off as soon as possible. And I'm really pleased that Matt raises this issue again and again and again, because we have to do something about it. People are not doing anything about it. The government's not doing anything
I think
about
the
it.
bottom line, isn't it, that the well-intentioned people out there that want to help need to think a little bit more deeply about the best way to help. Well, that's really what we're talking about.
I would say you've got to do it deeper. You've got to get... We have to be petitioning our political leaders and saying, enough is enough.
All right, final word, Matt.
I mean, even something as simple as the fact that 50% of people on the streets in London are not from the UK, that they can't access the homelessness services, or they might well be deported. And, you know, these are often people who are asking you for money, and they really have not got anywhere else to turn. And we should be thinking of them.
Look,
as
it's a
well.
good debate. I don't think anyone's necessarily completely right, completely wrong. It's a difficult issue. Hopefully, the awareness of just debating it will spark.
Let's get
more
people off the
Particularly at
streets.
this
Let's
time.
remove... Let's give them an alternative to
Yeah.
street existence.
All agree with that, John. Good to see you both. Thank you very much
Thank you.
indeed.
Thank you.